Welcome back, it's Merely Mercedes, back with another video, and today I'm going to be doing somebody else's makeup for once. So, a part of the clip cut out, but I just had to do her foundation, which I could not record, and now I'm going in with her concealer. I'm using the Pat McGrath concealer, and I just literally put that where I want light to show on her face. And yeah, so I'm kind of using a different technique. I usually don't apply the products the way I am right now all the time, but you know, 2021 is all about growing and trying different things. So I hope you guys enjoy the look overall and learn a couple tricks while you're here. So yeah, I just applied the concealer under her eyes, around her mouth, and on her forehead. And I didn't apply too much because I'm not trying to English is such a hard language. Accentuate her forehead. But I just want to bring light literally right in the front. And then I'm going to contour her nose. I'm using a foundation that's darker, obviously, to contour her nose. And I'm bringing the contour into her eyebrows to just like make it look seamless. Because naturally that's how our faces are contoured. It literally goes into your eyebrows. That's why I chose to do eyebrows last in this video, as you're going to see. So I just keep blending it and bring it down the bridge of her nose. Not the bridge of her nose, the sides of her nose. And then blending it into her eyebrow. And I do that until like I'm satisfied with the way it looks. Because we're trying to snatch the nose, like literally elongate it. Make it look slim. She doesn't have a nose that is wide. So already it was kind of like I didn't have to do too much with it. So now I'm going ahead and I'm blending out the concealer with the Beauty Blender. And I'm just literally focusing on where I put it. I'm not moving it too much. I'm trying to keep where I placed it, so then those places are like emphasized, if that makes sense. And I continue to blend it. I'm trying to get into the whole Beauty Blender situation because I usually tend to go in with the brush only for most of the base, but we're just trying to switch things up here. So let me know if you guys like this or you prefer the brush, whatever the case may be. And you literally see the structure of her face coming together. Literally, makeup is all about emphasizing what's already there. Like, so I'm just trying to bring out what's already there and just make it pop. Brushing up the nose because since I did blend out the concealer, it kind of like disturbed the nose a little bit, not too much. And now I'm taking the same brush I used to blend out the foundation that you guys were not able to see, and just like blend out the edges to just make sure there's no harsh lines. Even though I want to emphasize everything, I don't want there to be like, I don't want you to see where I put the brush to put on her concealer and all of that. Yeah. And now I'm just blending out her under eye a little bit more before I go on with setting powder. And the setting powder I'm going to list it down below. I actually really like the setting powder. Not even going to lie. It's the Nikita Dragon Beauty setting powder in the yellow shade. And I use that and I literally stamp it where I want it to sit. I don't put it anywhere else. I just put it where I put the concealer to set that place first. I start with the nose because I'm trying to emphasize that. I just bring it down her nose, and then as you see, I'm going to put it under her eye. And to ensure that I don't have too much product on my Beauty Blender, I dab off the excess powder. So when I pick it up from the container, I dab off the excess powder on my hand because I don't want it to stick. I just literally want to set her face. I'm not really into heavy baking and all of that, especially for my clients, because most of my clients are on the deeper complexion, or like they have melanin in their skin, so I don't like the whole bake, and I feel like it just dries out the under eye. It's just not cute at a certain point. It's cute for some, but personally for me as a makeup artist, I'd rather not bake. So I'm just literally setting all the places I put the concealer and like placing it intentionally. And then now I'm gonna prime her eyelids with the same concealer I used under her eyes, and just put that all over her eyelids just to give me like a clear canvas to do this eyeshadow we're about to do. And now I'm taking my brush and just blending out the edges of the concealer, so it's not harsh. Everything is just like with a soft hand. I think that's like a big takeaway if you're trying to get anything from this. Like, just really blend out the edges and use a soft hand. Wherever you put the concealer, just make it intentional. I'm not trying to wipe it off. I'm just trying to make sure that it's blended out and there's no ends and starts. It's just seamless. And then now I'm going to be using the Juvia's Place times Vanessa times. Wow. The Juvia's Place, is it times? The Juvia's Place featuring Vanessa, or whatever you want to call it. I'm going to just insert the image on the side. Palette, it's amazing. I had to use it. I'm going to try to use it as much as possible because I had to support, and the palette is amazing. Especially for this time, Valentine's Day, you know, the pink vibes. So I'm going in with I'm going to circle the shades. I'm not quite sure. It's like the purple shade in it, purplish pinkish shade in it. And I'm just stamping that where I want it to be, kind of like at her outer corner, but not trying not to bring it too high up, but high up enough. And just really stamping it. Since the concealer is kind of wet, you don't want to drag it because you're going to disturb the concealer underneath. So when I first start off, I literally just want to stamp it in because I'm trying to set the concealer at the same time while blending it, if that makes sense. And then after I've stamped it in, I can kind of like blend out the edges. And yeah, just literally like that. Just take your time. It'll come together eventually. And then now I'm going in with the orangish shade in the palette. You see me tapping it right there. And I'm just really putting that in the the front part of her eye, like the front half. And just also stamping that in and then blending it out after I've stamped it in to give it a gradient effect. After doing that, I'm going to take the Fenty foundation and then just blend that in the front part of her eye, and then eventually I go in with her bronzer shade and just blend that out just to like keep the look of the contour going into her eyebrows, and also just give it another transition shade in there in the corner because I didn't want to use the brown in the palette. I felt like it was too deep for that. And then now I'm just continuously blending, building until like I feel like it's blended out before I go ahead and cut the crease, which I will do later on in the video. So I'm taking my P. Louise blank canvas to cut her crease. Personally, I don't like a super, well, let me not say I don't like, but I don't usually go for a super defined cut crease on my clients unless it's requested. I like kind of like, I cut the crease, but then I blended out where the line started and ended. So that's what I'm doing. I'm applying the product, and then I'm kind of trying to tap it in as well because I don't want to drag it. I feel like as I drag, I don't get a smooth application. So I like kind of like tap it in and then drag it on the outer part of the eye because I'm not cutting the entire crease. It's kind of like a half crease. And yeah, just making sure that it looks okay to me. And then I do that on the other eye. Just like that. And it's really about taking your time, honestly, and just bringing it out, making sure you get your desired look. Literally, as I personally do it, I step back, I step back to make sure that it's looking symmetrical, it's looking even, it's just looking like what I want it to look like. So I feel like I've gotten my desired cut crease. I'm going to go in with the shade. I think the name is Stush. This is like the only name in the palette that I know. But the name is Stush, and I use that to set her eyelids, and it's kind of like a perfect nude for a brown girl for the lid color. Because a lot of times other palettes have like, it's either very white or it's very yellow or the undertone's just off. This is like literally the perfect lid color for such things, even a neutral look. I would probably reach for this palette on other clients because it's just that perfect beige nude color. I don't know how to explain it, but I'm going in with the same blank canvas, and then I'm using that to create a liner look. And then you're gonna just see what I'm gonna do. And to do this eyeliner look, I just take an angled brush and just literally do it as if I were to be drawing a wing line, but I don't wing it out. I just kind of like leave it at the end because I don't want it to be winged out. I just want to give it that diffused liner look. So now I'm going to take the shade, I'm pretty sure the shade is called Icrea, and literally stamped out on the outer part of her eye. It is so beautiful. It's just look at it, like it's literally so pigmented. But I take that, I stamp it on the outer part of the eye. I literally stamp it, I don't drag it, I don't try to blend it away. I literally just stamp it because the base that I put underneath, the P. Louise base, is like liquidy, and it's just gonna pick it up, just to keep the saturation. And also keep in mind that I already did her face, so I don't want it to fall and disturb what I've done earlier, the skin work. And then now I'm taking the BSG shade, her eyes are chilling a little bit, the BSG shade, and I'm gonna stamp that in the frontal part of the eye. I was kind of debating whether I wanted to do BSG all over the line or if I wanted to do Icrea all over the line. I don't know if I wanted to do the brown or the pink, so we just did both. Let me know if you guys like it. And yeah. So now I'm just gonna blend out the edges. Since Icrea is the shade on the outer part for the wing, I just want to make sure that it's blended into the actual eyeshadow and it's just not harsh. There's nothing standing out oddly. And then now I went in with the shade Extra. First I'm setting it down with the NYX glitter primer, and then I'm going to put Extra on the outer part of the eye just to give it a little bit of a glow when she turns her head periodically. It's nothing drastic or dramatic that you're going to see, but just for preference, I wanted to do that, so I did it. And then now I'm just dusting away anything that fell. This eyeshadow palette has literally no fallout. Like, I did her whole entire face and nothing really fell onto her face realistically. But now I'm going in with the MAC powder, and then I'm just gonna kind of put the powder around the perimeter of where I put the concealer, so it's not like setting powder, bronzer. So now I'm going with the bronzer, and I'm just bronzing her face while I was contouring at the same time. I'm not really a big fan of contouring on my clients as well. I rather just contour their nose, if anything, and then bronze, and then just use the bronzer as a contour in a sense. So while I was warming up their face, I'm kind of pulling it in as well. And then I take the same bronzer. Actually, I didn't take the bronzer. I took BSG in the palette, and then I used that to just set her nose contour that I did, and then also still blend into the eyebrow a little bit more. And I'm taking the same setting powder I used to set under her eyes, and I'm just really further defining her nose. So I'm setting the center of her nose, and I'm setting the sides or edges of her nose, just to make that stand out and be more defined as I continue to work on other things on her face. And now I'm gonna go in with blush, and I'm just gonna literally place the blush on the apples of her cheek, and I kind of drag out the blush a little bit, kind of following the same direction of the bronzer, so sitting right above the bronzer a bit. And then I just dust that off because I don't want the setting powder to stick too much. I don't want her to look too I don't even know what the word is, but I just didn't want it to sit for too long. As I said, I'm not really a big fan of baking, so even with that, I was kind of like, let me wipe this off. And then I'm just gonna fill in her eyebrows. I kind of finished the eyebrow work off camera, but if you guys want a tutorial on how I do eyebrows with this look, or how I did them for this look, I will not mind to put up a video for that. My eyebrow technique kind of changes periodically. Sometimes I do it before the eyeshadow, sometimes I do it after. It really depends on how I'm feeling, but this I really wanted to try doing it after, and I really like the result, because sometimes when you do your eyebrows after the eyeshadow look, you realize that you don't need to make it as dramatic or as bold, because the skin or maybe the eyeshadow speaks for itself. So you want to kind of go softer on the eyebrows, so then whatever you want to pull out more on your client can show up. So in this case, it was the eyes for me, so I didn't want her eyebrows to also be very bold and thick. I just like to follow the client's natural eyebrows. Like I said, I'm trying to emphasize the beauty that's already there. I'm not trying to replace anything. I'm not trying to alter anything. Literally trying to emphasize. And let me know if you guys like these kind of videos, because personally, I don't like doing bold looks on myself, but I love doing colors on clients and just people other than myself, because I don't know, I'd rather paint on somebody else than paint on myself. Usually I just stick to the soft glams. I feel like that's what best suits me, but being able to do makeup on somebody else just, I don't know, gives me something, another feeling, makes me feel differently. Yeah, so I'm not going to show all of it, but I literally just clean up the tail of the brow. I don't clean up the front. I just leave the front to be what it is. And just literally brush up or clean up the tail of the brow. So I've put on her lashes off camera. I'm just going to put Icrea on her waterline, just to give her some eyeshadow on the waterline. Okay, so I'm just going to set her face after doing all of that, and I cover her eyes because I don't want her eyes to crease. And we're going to go in with highlight, and this is the NARS Orgasm highlighter, the loose powder highlighter, and I just literally brush that all over her face. I don't want her to be beaming, but I do want to add a little bit of glow to her face, because it is kind of on the matter side, and I wanted to use this particular highlighter because it has a pink undertone to just tie in with the pink. I'm going to go ahead and line her lips. This is just a beauty supply store lip liner. and literally just follow the structure of her lips. I really, really love this look. I love the palette. I felt like it just worked so well. Let me know how you guys feel about the look. If you want to see more videos like this, just doing other people's makeup, what kind of looks you guys want to see whilst I do other people's makeup, all of that, because I actually highly enjoyed this, and I feel like it's going to be like a breath of fresh air on my channel because I was tired of seeing my own face. I wanted to switch it up a little bit. And then now I'm going in, and I'm pretty sure I already put on her lipstick, but it's just the KKW Nude lipstick. And then I applied it with the brush, and then now I'm just applying the Fenty gloss in Hot Chocolate around the perimeter where I put her lip liner, just so it can help that brown pop, because Hot Chocolate and the Fenty gloss is a brown. And this technique I got from Yvonne Victoria. She does this a lot on her lips, and it looks gorgeous. Now I'm going to just take the nude lip that comes in the collection, the Vanessa collection, and just apply that where I put the lipstick, just to tie in this ombre look that I have going on. And it looks so pretty. Like, everything just looks seamless. Everything just looks like tied together. Nothing is too, I mean, the eyes are the most dramatic part, but like everything is very soft at the same time. I love it so much. I hope you guys love it too. This is the end of the video. Thank you for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and catch you guys next time.